Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Mo, my dog, is joining me today because unfortunately I just had to drop my healer, my girl, off at the vet because she messed up. I don't know if it's her leg or her hip. We will find out. So in the meantime, I am at a park deciding, hey, I think I will do a little podcast real quick and take advantage of waiting. Right, Mo? So hello. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have never paid attention, if you've never tuned in before, I so appreciate you doing so now. And if you've been listening to me in the past, then I very much appreciate you coming back and giving me another shot. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a coworker, pass on the word. So, hey, what's been keeping me up? What's preventing me from getting shut-eye? Several things. One, all right, so hear me out. Hear me out. I have a point of view on P Diddy, on Sean Combs. And I have a point of view that I don't know is going to be the most popular point of view, but it's my thought. It's what I'm thinking. And that is, what do we know? Well, we know that P Diddy liked to get his freak on. Get your freak on. Get your freak on. And we know that he liked to do that. He liked to let his freak flag fly. We know that he liked to drink. We know that he liked to have big old parties and go all out and be extravagant. We know those things. Those are facts. We know that he had, celebrities to his house, and those celebrities partied. We know those things. What we don't know, that we don't have proof of, or at least that the public has been notified of, is exactly what was going on at those parties. It sounds like there were orgies taking place, some voyeurism taking place, some drinking taking place and dancing, and maybe some drugs. Maybe those things, it seems like all of those things were happening. And it sounds like people were having a good time. It seems like people were well aware of what they walked into, at least most people. Other people didn't. It sounds like people weren't quite sure of the extravagance of it all. But what is curious to me, what I find interesting is it's not against the law to have orgies, to have sex parties. If you want to, get your freak on, then you are allowed to do so, as long as all parties are consensual, as long as they aren't minors. And it seems like right now there isn't proof of any minors involved in sexual acts. There's accusations of it. It sounds like there are some accusations. It sounds like there are parents that brought their kids, their minor children, to P. Diddy parties. And it sounds like those parents knew that it was going to be a party. I don't know if they knew what type of party, but they knowingly brought their, minor children to a party. Now, to me, that's a parent thing. That's not up to P. Diddy to parent your children. It's not up to P. Diddy to make sure that your children aren't seeing things that they're not supposed to see. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that P. Diddy should encourage minors to drink or do drugs or of course, have sex, do any of those things. And if those things happened, that is not okay. I don't condone it. I'm not at all sticking up for P Diddy. I'm not at all saying he's an upstanding guy. I don't know him. He seems like he's weird and not really my cup of tea. But it's if a parent brought their minor, their minor child or children to a party, that seems like bad parenting or not the best judgment. And it seems like that's, should be up to the parent to be frowned upon. We should be talking to the parent, being like, why on earth did you make the choice to have your kids around things that probably isn't the best for them to see? I know there are videos of it's supposed to be family time first, and families, are welcome. And then later in the evening, according to some of the video I've seen, he kicks the kids out and he tells the parents to, bring the kids home because it's going to get where it's not appropriate. And so that's what I see. I don't know if that's what happened, but I do see videos of him saying, hey, by the way, parents, if you brought your kids to the family part of this, now it's time to, get a babysitter, and it's time that you take them home because now it's going to get not so family orientated. And, I watched a little thing that TMZ put out that talked about this guy who's now an adult, but at the time was a kid. And he said that he's gone to P Diddy parties because his parents brought him there. And he admitted that nothing happened to him, but he saw stuff. And I again think, well, why did the parents bring their son to those type of parties? And I think, again, that's a parental issue, not a P Diddy issue. And it's not against the law to have sex in public and have sex with multiple people. Is it something that is morally or ethically your thing? Is it, against your religion? It's against many people's religions. A lot of people find that, gross or weird or disgusting or whatever, but that's not up to you. It's still not against the law. You don't have to like orgies. You don't have to like drinking. You don't have to like drugs. But the fact remains, it's not against the law. Again, it is if there were minors involved, and we don't know that. And if that's the case, again, I'm not siding with Diddy on any of this. I'm just saying it's getting frustrating that in this day and age, we can simply point a finger and we can go, you did this. And people go, oh, okay, yeah, you did that. We don't seem to, the vast majority of people seem to just believe what we hear without, and I've done this. I'm not saying that I'm some upstanding member of society that doesn't do this once in a while. Sometimes I'll hear something and I'll be like, oh, really? But then I usually step back and go, okay, did this person do that? We don't know. I don't know people. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Someone that seems like an upstanding member of society may be a complete douchebag. They could be a serial killer like Ted Bundy. Apparently, Ted Bundy was charming as hell. Obviously not a good person. Just because someone, you can't always judge a book by their cover. They could be a better person or a worse person behind closed doors. They could be that same person that they show. Maybe they have nothing to hide and they are the same in front of everybody as they are behind closed doors. We don't know. We don't know much about people other than what we see. And so I try really hard to get all perspectives. And with the P Diddy thing, what's bothering me is this kind of seems like an Amber Heard or a Me Too movement kind of thing. Now, when I say Me Too movement, I'm aware that there are many people out there that have been raped or molested. And I am not at all. If you've actually for real been raped or molested, that's a terrible thing. I know. And I know what that's like. And I'm not at all. If that's actually happened to you, then that's terrible. But there were people that jumped on the Me Too movement, especially, the celebrities, because they wanted the limelight. Maybe their career was kind of going down the toilet a little bit and they needed to, be in the spotlight again and have people remember them again. And they wanted that pity card. they wanted us to shed a tear for them. I'm sorry, but there are people out there like that. There are people out there that just are looking to get attention. And I think celebrities in particular do this. And it seems to me that now there are hundreds and hundreds of people saying that P. Diddy raped them or that it wasn't consensual because they were drinking. Okay, well, if P. Diddy was drinking and you were drinking, that means you also raped him. That means you also raped him. It means it was like a two-way street because you were both incapacitated. You both had a lapse of judgment. You were both under the influence. So why does it just mean that the man raped the woman? Now, I know there's going to be people that get pissed off at me, but I get real tired, again, of women using the fact that they're a woman to get away with stuff. Again, I'm not speaking to those that have actually been the victims of sexual abuse. I'm not talking about that because that's not okay, and I don't condone any of that. And I have nothing but sympathy for those that have actually been raped or molested. But there are women out there that accuse men of beating them or raping them or molesting them or beating them up when it didn't happen. And they do it because they know they can get away with it because they are women. And more often than not, women get away with shit just by simply accusing a man of doing it. And that's not okay. Those women should be in jail. Those women should be in jail. They should be held accountable because you are messing with someone's entire reputation. They may lose their job. They may go to jail. They may get a divorce. They may break up with their boyfriend or girlfriend. These are not things that are okay to accuse people of. And then let's say that person was exonerated and they're like, oh, you know what? He didn't actually rape her. People don't remember that part. They don't remember that you were found innocent. Papers don't print retractions. The news doesn't get on and go, oh, by the way, just kidding. She's a big fat liar. No one remembers that, and people don't get on the news or print in the paper that didn't happen. They only talk about what someone is accused of. And look at Amber Heard. That didn't bode very well, and I'm very proud of Johnny Depp for taking her to court. And shame on her for using, thinking, oh, she's a woman, and she tried to get money out of Johnny Depp. And this is what I think is happening with 99% of the people coming forward with P. Diddy. I think that you were all drinking and you were all doing drugs. And then now you're like, oh man, I'm going to get a really bad reputation if sorry, there's a moving truck backing up and making noise. But, they're going to get a reputation because they know that this is on video. They know that they have video of them attending these parties and they're like, oh shit, this isn't going to look good. P. Diddy has a bad rap right now. And if I'm, seen at a P. Diddy party, people are going to make assumptions. Well, it's sad because they're probably right. People will make assumptions. And because they're in Hollywood, other celebrities and production companies and directors and writers all very much jump to conclusion and do not actually try to find the truth and do not hear all perspectives and get people's side of the story. They just immediately cancel somebody. They immediately go, oh, you're shunned from Hollywood. Because people just jump on this train and it's insane to me. So I don't blame people for fleeing Hollywood and fleeing the country and trying to, outrun this wave of bad publicity they're going to get. Because they probably are going to get bad publicity because no one stops and goes, wow, I'm only hearing one side. And I wasn't at these parties and I don't know these people. So there are two sides to every story. And all I'm saying is people tend to, like with Trump, everybody just jumped on board the fact that they thought that Trump has said and done all of these things. And then it's been proven over and over and over exhaustively, extensively, that he didn't do these things. But what do people remember? The bad. People remember the accusation. And that is why it really, really needs to be a stiff penalty for people just waving a finger around and, spinning the bottle and whatever that bottle points to. You did this. And how do you prove, by the way, that people were drugged? years later. If you feel like you are raped or drugged, you need to come out right then so that you can have a rape kit, so that you can have your blood tested for toxins, for drugs. Again, I understand why people don't want to come forward right away, because P Diddy is a huge influential person. And you probably are concerned that he has more money and more influence and more ties and more connections, and probably can sue you or, make your life miserable if he actually did something and you come out and say and accuse him of something. I'm sure that if this did happen to somebody, they probably didn't want to say anything right away because they were scared of the repercussions that he, again, he could, I don't know, make them go away, or he could possibly um, have them scared that something was going to happen, or maybe ruin their career. So there is that possibility. There's also the possibility that they did drugs on their own, willingly, consensually, and now they regret it. That's a possibility. There are many possibilities, and we don't know because we're not P. Diddy and we aren't the people that attended the parties. I just wish that people would stop when, we hear these things and go, okay, that's one side. And if that happened, that's not okay. Again, I am not condoning if he did anything that was illegal, not condoning it. Not saying he's an upstanding pillar of society. He seems weird and not my cup of tea. But again, I've never met the man, so I don't know. I just am tired of all of the accusations, and the Democratic, the lefts, I can't talk, rewind. The leftists are at it again. They just cannot swallow the pill that Trump is president, and they just keep yapping and yapping. Haven't they learned that people are sick of it? We're tired. We don't want to listen to it anymore. We just want to start getting back to good. Like the Matchbox 20 song. No. Anyway, we just want to move on with our lives and let go of the terrible, terrible reign of Biden. We just want to, pretend that was a nightmare. We've woken up now and we're moving forward. Oh, I know. It's a dog. Sorry. Good, quiet, good boy. Yes. Good, quiet, good boy. But, and speaking of, everybody is all up Biden's ass because he pardoned Hunter. And do I think it's okay? No. However, am I a mom? And do I want my son to go to prison? No. I don't know that I wouldn't do the same. I'm not going to lie. And I heard a lot of people say that. When it's your child, you don't want to see your child suffer. But then I struggle all the time saying accountability. If you do the time, you need to do the crime. So that would be a tough position to be in. And I wouldn't want to be in that because I can't say I would do the same. I don't know. I would like to say I'd be like, look, you did this. And the only way you're going to learn is by suffering the consequences. You have to pick yourself up off the ground and not get a handout, or you're never, ever going to learn a lesson. I mean, let's face it, Hunter's not going to suddenly wake up and learn a lesson. I don't think anytime soon. I don't think he's going to suddenly find Jesus. And, supposedly he's already religious, but whatever. I don't think he's going to suddenly, stop doing drugs and stop sleeping with prostitutes, but, and he should be held accountable. But I don't think that prison is going to do anything for him. I think he needs counseling, extensive counseling. Prison in the States doesn't do much good. We need to have counseling from, the get-go. We need to have more outreach programs. It starts, though, with counseling. And I don't think that prison is what, reforms you. That's why we have such a reoffense rate. I don't have the statistics right here, but we have a very high reoffense rate. And it's because going to prison and just shoving someone in prison only works for a small percentage of people. Again, it starts when you're younger and it starts with the home, having mom and a dad, having both parents parenting and both parents being involved, having kids be active in things so that they don't have time and they don't get bored to go off and do other stuff. It starts with possibly religion, being religious, or if you're not religious, getting out into nature, reading a book, having, being in sports, being involved. But prison just doesn't really help, and I don't think that's going to help Hunter. But was it shady? Was it okay? Probably not. Probably not. So those are some things that have been on my mind. And I'm just hoping that when people hear a story, they're not just like, oh, yeah, or they hear a rumor, the rumor mill, it'll get you. And again, I'm not acting here like I have not been, like I've never gossiped before. I'm not proud of it, but I've done it. It's terrible. So anyway, those are some things that have been keeping me up. On a side note, I do want to say I've had some positive things that I've been thinking about lately. And that is, well, I guess I shouldn't say this isn't a positive thing, but some funny things that I've been thinking about lately, some things that have been keeping me up because it's kind of cracking me up. And that is kids. Kids are funny because we sit here and we spend our entire time telling kids, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, don't eat candy from a stranger. And then meanwhile, we're like, ice cream truck, ice cream man. And so we're like, don't eat candy from strangers unless it's the ice cream man. Don't talk to strangers. However, you can sit in the lap of a strange man that we call Santa. Well, when I was a kid, I have a picture of me at Disneyland with Winnie the Pooh and Mickey Mouse. 2 separate pictures, same trip, and I'm crying in both of them. Why? Because I find it so creepy and so weird when I was a kid, and I still find it weird. When I was a kid, the thought of some gigantic bear, some huge mouse, some big rabbit, upright, walking on 2 feet, not 4 legs, but walking upright on 2 feet, dressed in clothes, with a gigantic head that towered over me. I'm like, what in the fuck kind of bear is that? What kind of mouse is that? The mice I know about don't walk upright and don't wear clothes. And so to me, that was creepy as fuck. And I never had my kids get picture taken with Santa because I was like, that's some weird man who 90% of the time, 95% of the time, I'm sure is just a sweet man who just genuinely, wants to be a kind guy and play Santa. Nothing behind it at all. But come on, there's like, 3-5%. I'm just pulling numbers out my ass that I'm sorry, but pedophile, creepy, weird. I think it's weird. And I never wanted my kids to sit on Santa's lap. I don't know why I started this, by the way, the story saying it was positive and happy. I don't know where I just said that. And I don't know why, because this isn't some positive, happy thing. So I don't know why I prefaced this whole story by saying that. Anyway, but so I think about this because it's, December, and my friend just sent me the most adorable picture of her dog. Her dog was Santa. Now, her dog is not sitting on Santa's lap. So I found that adorable. But my friends have been sending me pictures of their kids sitting on Santa's lap. And the ones that are crying, I'm like, I get it. I would be crying too. It's weird. This is a weird person, a strange person that we don't know. And our kids are like, here you go, sit and smile and pose with a strange man. And then the rest of the time, we're like, don't talk to strangers. And when the ice cream truck comes around, we teach our kids it's totally okay to not only talk to a stranger, but take candy from a stranger, just like on Halloween. Kids are probably like, what the fuck? I don't get it. Now, do you want me to talk to strangers or not? Am I taking candy from strangers or not? Oh, so it's okay if it's Halloween, and it's okay if it's an ice cream truck. And it's okay to talk or sit on a stranger's lap if it's Santa or someone dressed as something. That's weird. I feel like it's weird to tell your kids it's okay to sit on someone's lap that's dressed up as something. You know what I mean? if you're dressed up as something that seems creepy, and then we tell our kids, sure, this thing is dressed up and not normal, but sit on their lap. It's cool. And while you're at it, take candy from them. Kids are like, what the hell? I don't know if I'm supposed to take candy, not take candy, talk to strangers, not talk to strangers. What am I doing? Again, I'm not dumping on anyone's parenting skills at all. If you want your kids to sit on Santa's lap, hey, do it. I'm the weirdo. I'm aware that I am the creepy one that sits there and thinks pedophile or I don't know, just something doesn't sit well with me, but that's just me. And I think big, gigantic things dressed up as something is weird. And I think people that dress up as them are weird. But again, that's my opinion. If you're someone that dresses up as stuff, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're not a weird person. I find it a little disconcerting, but that's just me. So, with the holiday season, when you see Santa, you're welcome if you're creeped out now and you see Santa in a different light. I've ruined Christmas for you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, but those are the things that are keeping me up. These are the things that go through my head. And that's something going through my head lately. So I had to bring it up. What are your thoughts? Do you find it weird? Do you find Santa weird? Do you find things dressed up like other things weird? And do you find it weird that we tell our kids not to take candy from strangers unless it's on Halloween, unless it's the ice cream truck? Anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody that's tuning in for the first time or the 100th time. I absolutely love it. Again, tell a coworker, tell a friend. Listen to me on the way to work, on the way home from work, grocery store, whatever. I appreciate it. And until next time.